Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Commute with Hopi living in the city. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for returning to the channel. We appreciate you coming back. And it is a cool, nice, comfortable morning. We're looking at 65 degrees outside. I need to get a window wash. The bugs are not coming off. It is a little after 5:30 and I have me a cup of joe here. My first one, I got up on time, but I had to peel and shred a potato for breakfast. And my tortillas were reaching their usefulness, I guess. So they were kind of falling around, flipping around, tearing apart, and just being difficult. So I made breakfast. I did a shredded potato with some Spam and multiple eggs. I did it up pretty good with the eggs today. Oh, I forgot the chili though. I knew I was going to forget the chili if I didn't put it right by my prep station. But, oh well. That's the way it goes. And so yesterday I did a barbecue after work. I grilled up some chicken legs or thighs, and then we also had some leftover pork. So what I made was another one of those tortas with the red tomato sauce, the spicy sauce, and that was good. I didn't have it with lettuce, and so that was different, but it was still really good. I enjoyed it. So it's already Wednesday. It's Patch Wednesday. So let's see what's on the radio today. Oh, there is an accident on the eastbound 202 by Kyrene Pass. That's towards Chandler. So if you travel that area, just map out your route. Make sure you leave a little early. Let's enjoy the ride now.
Cuts in federal funding. Now, some of those cuts have also been stopped temporarily by federal judges. We know ASU and U of A have made changes with their DEI policies, getting rid of some language on their website. Grand Canyon University also sent ABC 15 a statement saying in part they have seen very little impact because most of their grants are from private foundations and they don't use DEI specific programs. Education.
Starting in the 2026-27 school year, some foods are going to be banned from schools. Arizona's governor signed into law a bill that bans certain dyes and ingredients like potassium bromate from foods in schools that get federal funding.
This bill phases out ultra-processed food being given to kids throughout programs funded by the federal government. No longer will our tax dollars be used in schools to poison students.
That's Maricopa County School Superintendent Shelley Boggs.
It is 5:33 now on Arizona's Morning News, and coming up this afternoon from noon to 2, you'll be able to hear and watch a KTAR News and ABC 15 special show called Highlight on Housing, hosted by my buddy here, KTAR's LaDonna Harvey, and ABC 15's Nick Saletti. And leading up to that, you're going to hear the latest edition of our ongoing series, Highlight on Housing, and how you know when it's time to take the plunge and buy.
Right? First, though, let's hit the roads, because you got to go to work if you're going to buy a house. John Roller live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Yeah, we have had a couple of vehicle fires this morning, thanks to a KTAR listener. Give you a heads up of the latest one. Eastbound Loop 202 Santan Freeway, just past Kyrene and prior to McClintock. This is blocking the left lanes, and just took a look at it a few minutes ago. This baby was cooking. So fire is still on the scene, mopping up after that fire. Lean to the right to get around that. If you are headed to the 101, or if you're just headed east, lean to the right to get around that crash. That earlier garbage truck fire, southbound Loop 101, the Alma Freeway, that was right near Olive. That is off to the right, and that was smoldering, but it looks to be under control. And right now, main lines are looking very good other than the two car fires, and the surface streets are quiet as well. John Woolwer, KTAR News.
Mostly sunny today, the high 93, a low tonight of 63, 82 the high for tomorrow with a mostly sunny sky. Your weather is brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing. Hey, it's Vince Murata here for Earnhardt Buick GMC in Mesa, your local GM dealer. And folks, there has never been a better time to get in a new...
About what prompted this statement. Was there a red line that members of your coalition felt had been crossed?
Well, look, multiple things are true at the same time, but this entire conversation over the last few months has been set up as this false choice, as we wrote in the statement. We know that anti-Semitism is real, and it's rising, and our organizations in this coalition have been speaking out clearly against the alarming rise in anti-Semitism since October 7th, and frankly long before that as well. And at the same time, we've seen this escalating use of our legitimate concerns about anti-Semitism to undermine democratic norms and rights, to attack academic institutions, and to otherwise go after the core values of our democracy that have been so inherent to Jewish safety and the rights and safety of all. And so we at JCPA have been making clear since the first arrest that we're deeply concerned about the exploitation of our real concerns about anti-Semitism to undermine our democracy. And what's clear as these actions continue and grow is that the overwhelming majority of American Jews are feeling many of those same concerns and speaking out, and that's precisely what this statement is.
The Trump administration says these student activists are a threat to national security. You just don't think that's true?
We can look at some of the specific cases and understand why that broad brush to paint these students with is frankly not exactly aligned with reality. Look at the Tufts case, for example, where at this point, weeks since that student has been arrested, I would say at my alma mater, the only thing that the government has pointed to as why she was arrested and detained is an op-ed in the student paper. And so we've seen hundreds of visa revocations and arrests over the last few months. They all involve different students in different scenarios, but it's very clear based on some of these higher profile cases that fundamental rights of due process and civil liberties have not been applied. And when we start selectively applying rights based on someone's views or identity, that's a slippery slope that makes us all unsafe.
There are other Jewish groups like the Zionist Organization of America that are applauding this decision to deport these students. They say that this is enhancing of the safety of Jewish students, in fact, people at these institutions. Is it your view that these folks just have it wrong, or that they just don't represent kind of the mainstream of thinking in the community?
Well, look, our coalition represents the overwhelming majority of American Jews. It includes the conservative, reform, reconstructionist movements, and a variety of other organizations that are representative of mainstream American Jewry. I've been spending the last few months on the road with the Jews across the country, and the overwhelming majority have deep-seated concerns about what's happening, both because we know anti-Semitism is real, and it needs to be addressed constructively and productively.
That's Amy Spitanik, CEO of the Jewish Council for Public Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is NPR News.
And this is Morning Edition here on KJZZ. Thanks for jumping in early. And ahead, the Marketplace Morning Report shares of global chip makers are down this morning. It might be the latest sign of how U.S.-China trade tensions are impacting major chip makers. We'll have that and all the day's business news and marketplace in 10 minutes here on 91.5.
KJZZ is supported by the Nature Conservancy, celebrating Earth Day every day. Learn more about the Nature Conservancy working to create a healthier planet for all at nature.org/Arizona.
One more very warm day, 92 today in Phoenix. Temperatures will drop starting tomorrow.
KJZZ is supported by Joe Clarkin of Constructors Bonding, a proud KJZZ supporter, a partner for all commercial, court, and construction bond needs for over 35 years. CBIalliance.com.
68 degrees in Phoenix at 5:43.
Support for NPR comes from the station and from the Wallace Foundation, an independent, nonpartisan research foundation, collaborating with grantees and partners in school.
Any further Boeing deliveries and stop buying airline parts from U.S. companies.
According to the CDC, 3% of children are now diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. That's sparking some new
Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Yeah, started the morning off with a couple of issues, Jim and LaDonna. We are still mopping up after a vehicle fire on the eastbound Loop 202 Santan Freeway. This was just past Kyrene prior to McClintock. It is still blocking the left lanes as fire. They mop up after this vehicle fire, which was really cooking a few minutes ago. Also, southbound I-17 now starting to pick up a little bit. Moderate slowing from Bethany Home Road down to Indian School Road. Eastbound I-10, very normal conditions this morning. A couple of spots of slowing right at the 101 transition to the eastbound I-10. Gets heavier then again right at the 202. And right now your right time into downtown Phoenix from the 101. Right now about 14, 15 minutes, not bad at all. That's all I see on the main lines East Valley. You are quiet except for the vehicle fire. And the surface streets are quiet as well. John Rohr, KTAR News.
We're looking for mostly sunny skies with a high of 93 today, down to 82 tomorrow, and into the 70s by Friday. Weather is brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing.
We've been going in depth this week on the Valley's housing situation in a KTAR News series called Highlight on Housing. And in today's edition, KTAR's Colton Krolak takes a look at making the jump from renting to buying and how to know when you can take that leap from renter to buyer.
Many have had to put the American dream on hold for a bit. Zillow reports Arizona home values have gone up more than 50% in the last 5 years. Meanwhile, the average conventional 30-year mortgage rate has jumped to around 6.6%, an increase of more than 4.25 points. But Doug Ressler, manager of business intelligence with the real estate data company Yardi Matrix, says these on-the-surface costs are just a small piece of the puzzle.
One of the things that has to be considered too is not just the cost of a mortgage, but also the continuing maintenance and expenses that a house would have that you wouldn't normally have in a rental.
Things like insurance, repairs, and maintenance. All told, that comes out to a big chunk of change. On average, buying a home will run you $1,000 a month more than a rental.
Really look out 2-3 years and do a drill down on your budget and be very cautious in terms of your own budget and what you think the affordability is that you can handle.
So how do you know when's the right time to jump into home ownership? To find the answer, Mike Weinstein, real estate wealth manager at West USA Realty, says you should start by asking yourself the obvious questions like how's your job security and can you afford it? But most importantly, he suggests looking at and maybe even rethinking why you want to buy.
Our angle is helping people build wealth in real estate. So if we are working with a first-time home buyer, we're not actually buying a home, we're buying a house. Because once you're buying a house, we're removing emotion.
And if you can buy a home, Weinstein believes now is a perfect time, adding you can mitigate high interest rates through point buy downs and refinancing.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand, because so many people are caught up on interest rates. But the higher interest rates are keeping a lot of buyers out of the market, making the sellers a little bit more desperate. So now we're able to get better deals.
But if you're not sure you'll be able to make it work, there are plenty of local assistance programs that can give you an extra boost. Samantha Keating is a deputy housing director with the city of Phoenix.
As home prices are increasing, that does make it more difficult for those at, households at the lower income levels to be able to find something that they can afford. But that's why we as a city are trying to look into different programs that can assist.
These include down payment and closing cost assistance, discounts off home appraisals, and a new community land trust program.
We have partnered with a local community development corporation, and they use grant funding to...
It's a pretty nice drive, I have to say. Thank you for tuning in. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to hug your loved ones. Don't forget to call them. Tell them how much you appreciate them. If you get time, spend some time with them. Don't forget to reach out to your sussus and papas and aunts and uncles and check to see if they need help with anything. Maybe they need some help planting or just cleaning up around their house or just running some errands. Spend some time with them if you can. You guys have a good day. Go net.